there, my name is John Scane and welcome back to the Grandiose Project. Today I'm going to take you on a trip back in time. Actually, I'm just going to show you footage from about a year ago. When I first started this project, I knew that I wanted to go to 10 mountain peaks around the world. The first mountain peak that I chose for this project was Mount Whitney in the Eastern Sierra of California. I chose it for a couple of reasons. Number one, my dad and I used to go up to the Eastern Sierra fishing and backpacking when I was a kid, and I have really great memories of the area. Number two, Mount Whitney stands at 14,500 feet, which makes it the highest peak in the lower 48 United States. And number three is it's only about 3.5 hours away from my home in Los Angeles. So I can go up there and try out stuff and film and test things, and it's really not that expensive. With that in mind, I went up there about a year ago to start this project, and I filmed it mostly with an iPhone and some of the old cameras that I had. The footage isn't that great and it's pretty rough. I didn't have anything in mind really, except for I knew that I needed to record it and that I wanted to document everything. I put together today's episode with footage from that trip and tried to make it entertaining and informative and show you kind of the process that I went through creatively when I started this project. Now, this painting behind me is one of the first paintings that I did, but the next painting that you're gonna see will be the images that I got from this trip and how I put them together and created that piece of work. So join me now and let's take a trip to the Alabama Hills and Mount Whitney in the Eastern Sierra of California. We arrived at the Alabama Hills a couple hours before sunset and went out to find a spot. The sky looked like it might get some color, so we focused on Mount Whitney with some rocks in the foreground.
I should always wear this cap so you can't see my bald spot from behind.
We returned the next morning to the same spot to try to get the sunrise of the same field.
Right now I'm waiting for the sun to come up over these rocks so that it'll just start catching the top of all of this shrub and these rocks that I have in the foreground of my composition. And that'll be in about 10 minutes.
The images that you're looking at now are taken more with the intention of being reference images for the paintings than they are for their own photographic purposes. While I'm happy with them photographically, they were really more intended to be documentation that I could source from for inspiration, but I do like them, and I like how the light hits these shrubs, especially in the morning. You get such nice color with the sort of dry shrub in the background. This mountain image, while it's not the best photographically, it is good for using as reference for the paintings.
All right, so I'm just out scouting for a location for the sunset tonight, and I'm looking for an interesting foreground and of course Mount Whitney in the background. Frames with that for the mountain part.
Sounds like a good idea.
Are you trying to be cool in front of the camera because you don't want to talk? You're yeah, sounds like a good idea. Really good. I'm gonna look cool. So funny.
We woke up early and went back out to the same spot. I liked the composition from the night before. I wanted to try to get it with some nice sunrise light on Mount Whitney and hopefully some clouds. It didn't turn out that way, but it was still fun. We took a bunch of different types of footage like this time-lapse and a regular movie, and then I got some okay photographs. That day, the weather report showed that there might be some nice clouds that evening. So we wandered around and looked for compositions, and I looked for stuff that would be interesting as reference photos for paintings. We found a lot of different stuff, and I took a lot of different photos for references. It was just fun to be outside and exploring and looking at nature, hiking around, and just enjoying being outdoors. That's a really big part of what this project is about for me, is being outdoors and exploring new places that I haven't seen. Later that day, close to sunset, we had seen a place earlier that looked like it might be an interesting composition, especially if the sky lit up.
So we went and set up and hoped to get some good light and shots. Once again, the sunset sort of fizzled out, but there was a decent amount of information in the files, so I could do a little creative editing. Overall, it was a successful trip, and I got a lot of material that I could use for the project.
Hey, thanks for joining me. I hope you liked this episode and a look at the beginning stages of this project. It was a real pain to edit this video because I didn't really know what I'm doing with it, and it's all a process that I have to learn. The good thing is it's teaching me how to learn a new skill, and it's also showing me what I should and shouldn't do for the future. This has taken me a few weeks just to go through all this stuff and find all this random footage that I shot back then. I hope that it came across as an interesting and entertaining story at least, and showed you some insight as to what I'm doing with this project. So in the next episode, I'm going to be back in my studio showing you how I used this trip and the footage that I got from it to create some of the new paintings that I did right after. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join me again for the next episode of the Grandiose Project. If you like what you've seen so far and haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you could. Also, if you know anyone that might be interested in this, please share it. I'm trying to get this channel off the ground, and I need subscribers and eyeballs on the project. So, if you like it, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye.